So you want to buy an Iron 883 to commute on. Maybe this is your first bike. Maybe you're just getting into motorcycling. Maybe you're wondering, hey, can I replace my car or supplement my car with some more fuel efficiency and commute to work on a Harley Iron 883? This is the video for you guys. We're going to talk about short and long-range commutes. What are some of the things that you want to consider when buying a bike for commuting? And also, what are my thoughts having owned one of these bikes? What have I done to it? And what would I recommend you guys do if you go down the route of using a Harley Iron or any bike for that matter? We'll discuss kind of the pros and cons of things you may or may not want to do when commuting with a motorcycle every day to work. Let's get started. Is the Iron 883 a good motorcycle for commuting? Now, obviously, this is an Iron 883 base, but I've got a 1275 Hammer Performance kit in here. Which allows me to do crap like that, which the stock 883 would not. Now, I have ridden plenty of stock Iron 883s. I've done test rides on those. So if you guys want to hear or see what a stock 883 sounds like, I'll put a card up on the screen. I'll put links in the description. It's all back on my channel, so you guys can go back and check those out. I also did a ride on the Iron 1200, which is an option from Harley. But as far as the bike itself is concerned, power is not the only thing you're looking at when it comes to a commuter bike. Is the Iron 883 something that you would want to commute on back and forth to work? Now, we got to discuss something here and get something straight, because I've talked to several of you about this before I shot the video, and some of you have an idea that commuting on a bike means 20 to 30 miles back and forth to work every day. For me, that's what I'm doing. I'm doing about 30 to 35 miles each way, so let's just say 70 miles a day. For you guys, some of you have that idea that that's your commute. Others of you are asking me what it's like to commute 200 to 300 miles a day. If you guys are having to commute that far every day, where do you work? Like, what are you doing? That's got to be brutal if that's your daily commute. I'm sorry. So we're going to talk about the short commute versus the long commute and what the pros and cons are between the two. Let's start with the short. The short commute on an Iron 883, no problem whatsoever. I wouldn't even recommend doing everything that I've done here with all this crazy stuff. Obviously, you can customize these Harleys to whatever you want. It's like a Lego set for adults. You can just build the thing out until your heart's content. So why do I say you don't need to do any of that? Well, if you're only going to be on a bike for 20 to 30 miles before you stop and get off, unless you're sitting on a bed of nails, anything will probably be comfortable for 20 to 30 miles, okay? It doesn't take that much out of you to ride that far, even if you have the world's most uncomfortable seat or frame setup. Now, depending on your physical size, there are things you may want, like an extended reach seat if you're taller. You know, there are certain things you can always do to make your bike better for longer rides, or if you're going to be riding it every single day. But for 20 to 30 miles on a commute, the Iron 883, let's talk about those pros. Super fuel efficient. I'm getting roughly 30 to 40 miles a gallon. Now, again, I've got the 1275 kit in here, and my idea is ride it like I stole it. If you guys saw how I normally ride, sorry, Mom, you'd be scared to death. But I have to slow it down for these videos because the wind noise without a fairing in front of me, it would just be too loud. It would overpower the GoPro microphone, or the microphone I have wired to the GoPro inside my helmet. So I'm riding right now at about 55 to 60, but normally 70 to 80 is my normal speed on this thing. It would just be too loud for the video, and I'm still getting 30 to 40 miles a gallon in those ranges. Now, I also have a lot of hills where I live. If you've got a flat commute with a lot of highway miles, this thing's going to perform great. You've got a, I think it's a 3.3 gallon tank we've got on here, so you're only filling up for a 20 to 30 mile commute each way, yeah, you'd fill up once every 2 to 3 days. And you're putting 91 premium in here, so it's not a big deal. It's not the most expensive commuter in the world as far as gas consumption. Definitely better than a car. There are more fuel-efficient motorcycles out there. You start looking in the Japanese market, we get into the Ninjas, like my old Ninja 650. You guys can go back and watch that video as well. That's a commuter bike if you're looking for ultimate fuel efficiency. The Ninjas, the Vulcans, the Kawasaki's and Hondas of the world, if that's really what you're going for is fuel, I'd go there. Otherwise, this is absolutely fine at 30 to 40 miles a gallon. And again, it depends on how you ride it. In addition to fuel efficiency, comfort, when I got this thing, it had the stock bars on here and the stock seat, and it was super comfortable for 20 to 30 miles. After that, I couldn't feel my butt anymore. My butt was just numb and off somewhere else, detached from my body in another world. So if you have a short commute, the stock setup is going to be absolutely fine. If you've got a longer commute, we'll get to that in a minute and talk about your seat options there. I would highly recommend an aftermarket seat if you're going to be doing long commutes on the 883. Now, what do you guys need to take with you? That's another consideration. Whether it's a short trip or a long trip, we need to talk about storage. The 883 is not a bagger. However, I've turned mine into a bagger. I actually call it the mini touring machine the way I've got it set up now. But if you guys can see back behind me from that camera, if not, I'll put a shot on the screen. You'll see when I hop off the bike. I've got Viking saddlebags on here. Viking was kind enough to send me these saddlebags in exchange for doing some video reviews for them for their YouTube channel. And these bags are simply awesome. They're hard-sided, they're lockable, they're waterproof, they've got a nice leather, ooh, these roads are crappy. They've got a nice leather cover on it. So I've got great storage back there. I can put a couple gallons of milk in each one, plus a couple extra groceries. For my wife and I, just 2 people, I can do a small little grocery run with 3 to 4 days worth of groceries for minor things. You know, you're not going to buy in bulk unless you want to go to Costco and strap the giant thing of paper towels on the back of the bike, although that would look kind of cool. I should try that one day. Just ratchet strap on a bunch of Costco crap to the bike. That would make a cool video. But the bike doesn't come with any storage, so you got 2 options. You can go the route I did, which is put the saddlebags on, or you can go the backpack route and just wear a backpack on your back. A lot of guys do that. A lot of people do that on sport bikes. I just don't like having anything on my back. I want to be free. I want to be comfortable when I ride. So having saddlebags is my preferred option. Now there is another option. I'm going to try to lean out of the way if you guys can look behind me. You see I got a sissy bar back there, also from Viking. Thank you guys. So maybe saddlebags aren't in your budget, or maybe you don't want to go the hassle, or maybe it just doesn't go with the look you're going for on your bike, but a sissy bar does. Well, throw the sissy bar on, and then there are plenty of sissy bar bags. I've got 2. Hey, again, from Viking. But there are lots of different options out there. You can strap your backpack or your sissy bar bag to that sissy bar, and then you get it off of your back, but you still have the convenience of being able to, you know, grab the bag and walk away when you get to your destination. If you got a bag with a laptop or something you want to take into work, that way you don't have to unload and reload your saddlebags necessarily every time you stop at your place of work on your commute. Now again, 20 to 30 mile commutes, maybe even 40 to 50. You guys aren't going to have too many complaints from your back with a backpack. But for longer commutes, you may want to get that bag off your back, strapped to a sissy bar, or unload it into saddlebags. So that's going to kind of depend on your range. So for short range, I can almost make an argument for any bike out there on the market. It's not difficult for me to ride a bike for that far and make it work. But let's say you got a long range commute. Some of you guys are commuting over 100 miles a day. Some of you are doing that one way. Again, I'm sorry if that's your commute. That's got to be rough. So for long-range commuting, the Iron 883, what would I do to the bike? I would do exactly what you guys have seen me do right here. The stock bars and seat on an Iron 883 are going to kill your back and kill your ass. If you're doing more than 40 to 50 miles a day, you got to get upright and you got to get a better seat. So upright, I put the mini apes on here. There are lots of options. You could do T-bars, you could do the mini apes like I've done. They've got one, I forget what it's technically called, but I think it's an H-bar. There are lots of different options to get your arms up, but that's key number one. You've got to get upright. If you are hunched over, you are going to be in pain for that kind of commute, especially if you have a backpack on. So, long-range commute, fix the bars, get yourself upright. Number two, get yourself a better seat. The stock seat is garbage. I'm not saying you guys have to go full-on Saddleman Explorer like I've got, but I would highly recommend it. It is super, super, super duper comfortable. Plus, you got the gel in the Saddleman seats, which helps dampen out the vibrations and reduce pressure points. On a Harley, especially a Harley Iron 883 with two little springs in the back, and that's your entire suspension, having that seat makes a world of difference. That's another thing I would consider. If you're doing super long range commuting and you were really going to ride this thing every single day, maybe you live in Arizona and you don't often get rainy weather, and you're planning to really ride this thing every day, truly, to work and back, I would invest the money and put a slightly better suspension on it. Go with like a Legend suspension, throw that on the back. That would also make a world of difference. If you're not going to ride it every day, maybe it's a 2 to 3 day a week commuter thing, even for long range, and especially if you're doing highway miles and you don't have to worry about too many potholes or crappy roads, the stock suspension is fine. A better seat will help mitigate those bumps. But if you got crappy roads or a lot of side streets to go on and you're going to do it every single day, you might want to upgrade the suspension. There are different levels. You could put a $3,000 suspension on here. I don't think that would be worth it, but there are much cheaper options, $400 or $500 spring kits that would definitely be worlds better than the stock springs that come on the rear suspension. Alright, so that's number one. If you're going to do really long range commuting, get yourself upright somehow. Get these bars up, get yourself a better seat. Number two, we go back to storage. Get some good storage on this thing. That's going to apply to everybody, whether it's short commute, long commute. Number three, when it comes to long range, think about wind protection. I don't plan to ride my Harley on the highway. I don't have highways where I live. I got one nearby and I never take it, especially when I'm on the Harley. So I'm not too worried about wind protection in front of me here. But if you're going to ride long highway miles and commute, you're going to be taking a lot of wind to the face, a lot of wind to the chest. So a good helmet will help with that, number one, really. A good helmet that's quiet, good seals. I like my Ruroc Atlas. Ruroc just came out with a new helmet. This is the 4.0. They've discontinued the Atlas line. It won't be the Atlas 5.0. They've now got the Ruroc EOX helmet. Lighter, quieter. Quiet being key if you're going to go on the highway. So I would invest in a good helmet first. Shoei also has some very quiet, good helmets. I believe Schuberth actually took the award a couple years back for quietest helmet on the market. I don't know if they still do. But if you're going to do long highway miles on any bike that doesn't have a fairing in front of you, invest in a good helmet and a good set of earplugs. Honestly, earplugs can make the difference for you between a nice, good commute and just being miserable at the end of the day. So in addition to the helmet, another option would be to put a fairing on the front. I believe Memphis Shades is one company that has fairings available for the Iron 883. Again, because it's kind of like a Lego set for adults, there are so many parts available, not just for Harleys, but for the Iron 883 in particular. There are so many parts available. People love to customize these things. So there are a lot of companies that you can find that have fairings, even some with just clip-on windshields, which is kind of nice. I had a clip-on for my Indian Chief back before I got the Chieftain, and it was cool because if you wanted to ride with the wind in your face and kind of, you know, old school motorcycling like this, nothing in front of you, you could clip the windshield off, take it off in like 5 seconds. When you needed it for highway miles, it went back on in 5 seconds. So clip-on windshields are an awesome option if you find yourself riding the highway sometimes, but not always. For long-range commutes, I would highly recommend looking into something like that if you're considering the 883, because once you are more upright, you also take a lot more wind. You have a lot more surface area here to receive wind to the face and the chest. Good helmet helps mitigate that, but for long highway miles, it will reduce your fatigue. One final bonus tip for you guys before we wrap this video up. No matter what bike you get, if you're going to commute, you need a rain suit. I've been caught in the rain so many times, and once your denim and your jackets, you know, once they get soaked, you're miserable. If it's a little passing rain shower, there have been hot summer days where, you know, you get a little bit of a sprinkle and it helps cool you down, and it's like, oh, that's really nice, that's great. I'm not talking about those. I'm talking about days when you hit a downpour and you show up looking like a drowned rat, okay? Get yourself a good... Oh crap, I'm late. I gotta pick up the pace here. Get yourself a good rain suit, alright? A good rain suit is worth its weight in gold. You're gonna need one that's got sealed and taped seams. There are lots of good options on Amazon. I will put a link to the one that I use down in the description for you guys. And if you guys purchase through that link on Amazon, I get a little kickback for the channel. It doesn't cost you guys anything extra, but it helps me out a bit. So if you guys choose to buy one, I would appreciate if you just went through that link, even if you buy a different one. But that rain suit saved my ass many times out in the rain. It will make your day so much better. Your shoes are probably still going to get soaked unless you got waterproof shoes or boots. And also make sure you got a helmet that's got really good seals around the visor as well, so you don't have water leaking in. I've had helmets in the past that were great. They were comfortable, they were quiet, they were awesome helmets until it rained, and then they were just worthless. They were like the Titanic. Water was coming in everywhere. So get yourself a good helmet as well to help keep that water sealed and out of your face. We're not talking again about little rain showers here. I'm talking about torrential downpours. And if you're going to be commuting, it's not a matter of if, it's when. You will get caught in one. And it won't be in the forecast. It'll be a summer day. You weren't planning on it. And all of a sudden, afternoon pop-up thunderstorm, and you just get nailed. And if you can make it to an overpass, great. But odds are you may just have to pull off on the side of the road and throw that rain suit on. So no matter what you use for commuting, get yourself a rain suit. They pack down to basically nothing, like a little burrito. Okay, you can put them in a backpack, in a saddlebag. If you do end up getting a sport bike and not something like a cruiser, there's usually a little pouch area under the tail cover for your sport bike, and that's usually enough room. You could pack a small rain suit in there. So those are my tips for commuting on a motorcycle, and in particular on the Harley Iron 883. Would I do it on the 883? Yes, I'm commuting to work right now on it. The 883 is a great bike. It has a lot of power, even if you don't have the 1275 kit in it like I do. The 883's got plenty of power, it's fuel efficient, and the fact that you can customize it and throw it together however you want, it is a Lego set for adults, for grown-ups. It is fun. You can throw whatever bars, whatever seat on, whatever bags on. And I've got a whole setup here from Viking, simply because they were willing to partner with me, and I appreciate them so much for that. But there are lots of other options out there for you guys. What's up, dude? So the 883 is a great bike that you can customize if your needs change over time. You can change the bike to meet your needs and meet your current commute. So thank you guys for sticking around. If you made it to this point through all my ramblings, I appreciate you guys the most. If you're not already, please subscribe. It's a big red button. Click the bell icon next to it. That'll give you guys notifications when there are new videos to watch here on Motoblade. Another big help for me and the channel would be if you could hit that thumbs up button. That cracks the YouTube algorithm. It really does, and gets this video out to a lot more people who may be interested in watching these videos. Thank you guys so much for watching. Until next time, y'all know what to do. Be careful out there. Ride safe, ride on. I'll catch you all in my next video. The deuces.